76% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. Is that you? I'm the CEO of 5 different companies. I wasn't born into it. We lived on welfare, but I wanted more. I created this show, The School of Wealth, helping people escape poverty like I did. I want to help you out of that consumer debt, teach you how to increase your credit score, teach you how to make more money at your current job or your current business, and then how to actually create generational wealth without changing your lifestyle. It is going to be a lot of fun. This is not like regular school. Hey, I'm Rondi Lambeth, and this is The School of Wealth. All right, welcome. Sorry for the delay, my friends. Traffic was absolutely horrendous. I left my house at about 12:30, and I've been on the road ever since, driving back and forth, looking at some properties, and I did not expect to sit in traffic for 30, 40 minutes to get to my house when I was literally about 3 miles away from the last house. So anyway, I apologize for being late. I try not to make that a habit. So I appreciate you waiting around for me. All right. So if you are a credit repair client, a couple things real quick with credit repair people or people who are trying to fix their credit on their own, which so be it. I think you should fix your credit on your own. You don't need to hire me to do it. You can do it on your own. If you got the time, then do it yourself. If you are going to do it on your own, and if you've hired us to fix your credit, a couple things you need. We need your updated address. So I need a copy of your driver's license, which I know we have, otherwise we won't start you. I need a copy of your social security card or proof of your social security number. And lastly, I need address, proof of address. And if you're an active client with us, I need a new proof of address every month. So every 30 days, you need to log into your portal at fortresscreditpro.com, click the login button, and upload a new proof of address. So this could be a bank statement, a cell phone statement, a utility bill, which is gas, sewer, water, electric, car insurance, something with your name and your address on it. This is very, very important. If you're fixing your credit yourself or you have someone else doing it, whether it's me or somebody else, you need to update and upload, rather, a new proof of address every single month. Without doing this, you will not get the results that you want. In fact, you will get double the deletions. What we found over the last 14 years is double the deletions if you provide driver's license, social security card, utility bill. If you do less than that, you're going to get less deletions. All right, enough of that. Okay, so let's talk about credit scores. And I want to talk about how they're calculated. Specifically, I want to talk about FICO and how the FICO credit score is calculated, because that's really what banks use. Most banks will use it, and it's like 92% or something. Banks use FICO. They trust FICO. It's been around for the longest. It's the most reliable score. Vantage is getting pretty close, but FICO's still got the market cornered, if you will. In fact, mortgages require FICO. Not mortgages, but the federal government, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, they require that FICO is used, which is why when a mortgage broker pulls your credit, it's always a Model 2 FICO credit score. So, and Model 2 was developed in 1996. And the problem with that is like running Windows 95 on your computer. Imagine me doing this right now with Windows 95. None of this would work. And what happens with your credit score is you will have an artificially lower score than if you had a FICO Model 10. Okay. So let's see here. I want to answer a couple questions and I'm going to get back into the FICO score. Justin says, why do you have to do that? I'm assuming, why do you have to provide IDs? I'll tell you why. And I will tell you this, most credit repair companies will not. They don't ask you for IDs. You guys ever notice that? You use the big law firm. You guys know who I'm talking about, the big one that pays $42 a click for my name on Google. Yeah, $42 click every time they try stealing our customers. And they're not really our customers, but they use my name with their phone number. It's ridiculous, and they're paying for it, so whatever. Sometimes I go in there and just click on it. But the reason why you don't have other credit repair companies asking for driver's license, social security card, and utility bill is because they're paid monthly and they don't care how long it takes. In fact, they want it to take longer. And by not providing that, remember, we get double the deletion rates by sending that with every single letter. Why would a monthly service company want to fix your credit quickly? They don't. Why don't they? Because they're paid monthly. I'm paid per item. And in a couple weeks, I'm doing it all for free. That's right. In April 1st, or on April 1st, we are launching Fortress University. I have 25 videos already done. So of the 9 courses, we already have 1 completed. And the way that's going to work is you're going to pay 1 flat fee for the course, lifetime access, lifetime credit repair, unlimited disputes, unlimited inquiries, lifetime credit monitorings included with it. If you're interested in a lifetime credit repair option for a fraction of the price and lifetime education and monitoring service and other things, send me a DM regarding the Fortress University courses. So that's why, Justin, is because they have no interest in speeding up this process. So thank you very much, Jen, for that comment. I love it. You're right, Jen. It's because the credit bureaus require it. They really do. They just ignore the letters without it. Lexington and those other companies, they don't care if they get ignored because they're charging monthly. All right, Melvin, I'm going to get into your question later. And Christopher, you have a question. I'll get into that. I will get into that. I really wanted to get into FICO. So let's see. Let's get this question and I'll get into FICO in a little bit. How do I get rid of a paid charge off Wells Fargo? Give my office a call tomorrow. Phone number is right there. 800-475-7267. Are you on? You're on YouTube. So if you're still there, give us a call tomorrow, 1-800-475-7267. Here's the deal. It's $325 for your audit fee and $125 per bureau. So the charge off with Wells Fargo is going to be on all 3 bureaus. So it's going to be $375 with deletion. The audit fee, so $700 is what it would cost you after we get it deleted. If we don't delete it, you don't pay that $375. You just pay the $325. If I get nothing deleted from your credit report within 6 months, nothing, and you provided me with a driver's license, a social security card, and a utility bill, and I get nothing deleted, I'll give you back the $325 and I'll throw in some extra money there. I used to give like an extra couple $100, but because now I'm paying for your credit monitoring, we give you back like $450. You give us $325, I give you back $450 if I get nothing deleted and you provide those documents. If you don't provide me the documents, I can't guarantee any deletions. And when I guarantee it, I guarantee we're going to get it deleted. Otherwise, you don't pay me. Okay. And if I don't get anything deleted, I refund the audit fee. All right. So give us a call tomorrow, Melvin. Thanks for that question, comment, whatever it was. Somebody else had a question. There it is, that one. What's your question, Sean Maddox? You're on Facebook. Cool. What is I love the way you have the flag upside down. A lot of people know what that means. I got you, man. I know exactly what that means. In fact, you could almost see it. Not quite. See a little 3% tattoo on my right forearm. So you'll see that in other videos. So if you got a question, Christopher, throw it in here and I will answer it. All right, Chastney's here. That's pretty cool. Chastney is the producer of the show and the social media queen. Takes care of so many things for me. All right. So let's get, I'm going to get back to FICO. Okay. Eric, thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. Appreciate the love and the support. Hey, if you guys find value in this, please share it. Please go on right now on Facebook and share this comment, get people on here, share it out. If you're on YouTube, share it, get some people on here. It helps with the algorithm, some thumbs up, some loves. Tells Facebook and YouTube that you guys are enjoying this. So let's get this question here, and I'll get into FICO. Maybe this will help me with FICO. Jen says, I'm confused. What's the difference between all the numbers? FICO, Experian, TransUnion, trying to buy a house, but it seems to have taken forever for my credit to improve. It's only gone up 50 points in 8 months. Okay. So a couple things there. What's the difference between FICO, Experian, TransUnion? Well, FICO is the software that creates the FICO credit score for your Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion credit report. Now, TransUnion has their own credit scoring software called TransRisk. Experian has their own called Vantage. So if you go to Experian.com, freecreditreport.com, you're going to get a Vantage score because they don't want to pay FICO for the FICO score. Now, some Experian websites like Credit Check Total does give you a FICO score. My website, for one, I have 2 monitoring services and a credit repair company. The 2 monitoring are Vantage scores. Credit Mojo and Credit Hacks are Vantage scores. Same with Experian, okay? And then there's TransRisk out there. So it depends on where you go. Credit Karma is a Vantage score. And then there's Beacon. And then there's IntelliScores. And then there's Paydex scores. And then there's Imperius scores. And then there's score number 1. And it goes from FICO number 1 to FICO 10. And then we have 49 different versions. And we have over 4,000 different scorecards inside of FICO. And now you're probably really confused. Think of it this way. This phone, type this in there for me. What software does the iPhone use? Look like that sexy dog right there. Isn't he cute? Who calls their dog sexy? I do. Look at Sawyer right there. He's laying right here, by the way. What software does this run off of? Does it run off of Linux? No, it runs off of OS, right? OS? Maybe I'm wrong on that. But it's Apple. It's an Apple software versus Droid. Works off of whatever droids work off of. I don't know. But the computer works off of Apple software. I got a computer downstairs. It's a PC. It runs off of Windows. iOS. Perfect. Thank you. Windows. So FICO, think of FICO like Windows. It is the software in the computer. So when you buy an HP computer, Microsoft is not giving them that software for free. HP has to pay for it. If HP wanted to put iOS in their computers, it would still work. Up until recently, they still use the same chips. Apple's running their own chips now. They're not using Intel anymore. But does that make sense? FICO is the software. And the reason you see different FICOs is there's different models and different scorecards. Your mortgage is a FICO Model 2 and a Model 4, developed in 1996 and 2000. Why is it a 25-year-old software? Because that is what Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, the U.S. government, require mortgage companies to use. They have not updated it. I don't know why, other than the fact that it artificially lowers your credit score so you pay more interest to the federal government with Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, with those mortgage backed. Those are backed by the U.S. government. And you pay more if you got FHA or if you pay VA. So you're going to pay more interest. So that's why your scores are different. That's really it. So hopefully that answered your question. If not, Jen, ask it again and I'll see what we got. Would removed inquiries, here's Matthew, thank you so much from YouTube. Would it removing inquiries impact your credit score? Well, it depends. It depends on how old the inquiries are. Did you do all the inquiries within a 30-day window? Do you have a thick credit file or a thin credit file? Do you have late payments on your credit? Do you have collections, charge-offs? Do you have maxed out credit cards? All of those things go into the scenario of whether or not. So here's a fact for you. 90% of all inquiries are completely ignored by FICO. 90% of inquiries are ignored by FICO. So 90% of the time, probably not. 10% of the time they would. So if you have a really thin credit file and you got maxed out credit cards, maybe you got some late payments on there, and you got 4 or 5 inquiries, then yeah, I would say that your scores would go up if we remove the inquiries. If you got a really thick credit file, what I mean by thick is like a lot of credit for the last 20 years, never missed a payment, credit cards are hardly used at all, no new loans. You got 4 or 5 inquiries, probably is not making a difference whatsoever. So hopefully that answered your question. We do remove inquiries, by the way, and with the new program, unlimited inquiries. Hey, Jen, Brandon brings up a good point. If you need a mortgage banker, I got a great one. We have a mortgage division. We have bank statement loans, stated income loans, FHA. My daughter, Chastity, actually today, she got approved. I'm not sure if it was today or yesterday, but she got approved for a house, 3.5% down, FHA. No big deal. 2% interest. So we can hook you up with that. Jen, probably what's going on with your credit then is credit cards. How many credit cards do you have? If you don't have at least 3, then go to rondilambeth.com and get some credit cards today. You need 3 credit cards. Of the credit cards you have, you need to keep less than 10% on that card. Do not ever go over 10% of the credit limit. So the utilization needs to be 10% or less. What does that mean? You got a $300 credit limit, don't spend more than $30 in a month. Got a $3,000 credit limit, don't spend more than $300. If you do, your credit score is going to drop by about 10 points every 10% you spend. I don't care what the realtors tell you at 30 to 50%. I don't care what the mortgage people tell you, 30 to 50%. They are not FICO certified credit professionals like I am, like my staff is. I will tell you, it's 10% or lower. That is what you need. And you need to use them every month, 1% or greater, 1 to 10%. I don't know if he's on here, but I talked to a client this week. Credit score dropped 60 points, 60 points. Kicked him out of A paper loans. Going to cost him about $300 a month extra in mortgage interest because he didn't use his freaking Home Depot card and his Kohl's card within 90 days, and they closed it, and he lost 60 points. So you got to be using these cards, otherwise they'll close them on you. So the course, by the way, of what I'm doing at Fortress University is this right here in an interactive forum. And it's everything you want to know about money, credit, taxes, business credit, finances, investments, insurance, all in one package, all sorted and separated, interactive with quizzes, leaderboards, badges, points, all of that stuff, certificates. Tax deductible if you're a business owner. If you're not a business owner, I'll show you how to become a business owner and tax deduct the $2,000. $1997 is what we're going to sell it for. Lifetime education, or $100 a month if you want to finance it. If you are a veteran, I'm working with the government right now to get your GI Bill to pay for it. Yeah, your GI Bill to pay for it. So I'm working with them right now. All right, enough of that. I think I answered this question. Oh, yeah. FICO Model 8 was developed a couple years ago, where FICO Model 2 was developed in 1996. So that's why. Let's see. Let's go up here a little bit. All right. Matt, great question. If someone stopped paying department store cards during COVID, what's the best advice you would give them? Well, if they already stopped paying, my advice would be call that number or DM. I guess Chastity changed that. Sign up for credit repair because you're going to need it. Because if you stop paying those credit cards, you're going to have late payments and charge-offs and collections. So that's my advice, Matt, is get them deleted, get them fixed. If you need us to settle the debt, we can do that. We have a debt settlement division. We don't charge, but they charge 20% of what they save you. So if it's $1,000 balance, they settle it for $200. You're going to pay 20% of the $800 that we saved you. So $1,000, you're going to split it up. It's going to be a couple payments, $360 total. Okay. What's this say? Bank gave me a letter saying my account has been satisfied. I used their letter against them. They wrote all three. The bank gave me a letter saying my account has been satisfied. Yes, I would use the letter against them and I would dispute it with the bureaus. Here's the problem. If you send statements, they can ignore the statement. You need to send questions. So my question would be, dear Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion, I noticed on my credit report, whatever the account is, my account with Kohl's, account number blah, 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 is reporting I owe $333.15. Why are you reporting I owe $313.15 or whatever it is? I'm also notice that you're reporting me late. Why are you doing that? My records indicate that I don't owe anything. My records indicate I was never late. Why are you reporting misleading, inaccurate, erroneous information on my credit? It is hurting me. If you cannot correct it or remove it, I'm going to have to hire an attorney to sue you. I would rather just have you correct it and remove the account. Sincerely, Christopher Maddox. Driver's license, social security card, utility bill. Do not send the letter that the bank gave you. They then respond with, dear Christopher, we've done a thorough investigation and we are reporting the information accurately. Go pound sand. A big F you. That's what they're going to send you back. Okay. Now you have them. You have set the trap, asked a question. They failed. You now snag them. And now you can sue them or send your letter threatening to sue them with the letter you sent them originally. I asked you why you're reporting it. You said it's accurate. I have proof it's not accurate. This proves that what you're reporting is not accurate. Therefore, it is illegal. Either pay me or delete it. And that's how I would respond to that. When buying a car, when a different dealership run the credit within 30 days or less, does it count? Yeah, it counts as one. So when you go and you buy a car or you go to shop for a car, shop for mortgages, shop for credit cards, all of your inquiries, all of them that have to do with the car count as one. The credit cards, one. The car loan, one. Banks, mortgages, one. So if you go car shopping, all of the inquiries for the car shopping will count as one inquiry on your FICO score. If you go and do it in 31 days, then they all count. So when you go do shopping, do it all in a 30-day window. The problem comes in, and I'll get into this. I want to talk about this since you brought this up. Imagine if you walked into the bathroom. And I do this every day. I'm doing 75 hard. Today is day 58 of 75 hard. Fourth time through. And every day I get up and I get on the scale and I want to see if it's changed or not. Now, imagine I had 3 scales in my bathroom, all lined up. And I got on one and it said 232 pounds. Which is what my scale said this morning. 232 pounds of solid steel and sex appeal. 230 pounds. I got a little budge though. I get off that scale and I get on the other scale. It says 233. I get off that scale and I get on the other scale. It says 234. Which one is right? Usually people say the lowest one. Which one's right though? Is it the first one, the second one, or the third one? Or are they all wrong? I mean, I literally got off one scale, got on the other one. Do you know what I'm talking about? How they're different? Your credit scores are the same way. You could literally walk into Wells Fargo, apply for a mortgage, and they're going to give you a 680 credit score because it's based on FICO Model 2 from 1996. You could apply for a car loan and have a 748 credit score because it's based on the Beacon score model. Then you could apply for a credit card and have an 830 credit score because it's based on FICO 10 credit card score. Like the bathroom scales. You're at the bank at the same time, and depending on what you apply to get will determine your credit score because they're using different models. Does that make sense? Has anybody ever explained it to you that way? I hope you're understanding now why scores are so much different and why they're confusing or why you could be confused. Now you know. It just depends on what you're trying to buy. The problem when you're shopping for a car and you go to the dealership and then you go to Wells Fargo and Wells Fargo does a general purpose inquiry, not an auto loan inquiry, then it screws the whole formula up and now it counts as an extra inquiry. That's a problem. So hopefully that made sense to you guys. All right. Look at this. Chastity, congratulations. I want to see that condo, by the way, Chastity. Just added 4 credit cards from credit cards you list, and I've had only 1 car payment before. Okay, so that explains a lot. Jen, 90% of all late payments, 90% happen within the first 2 years. So FICO will artificially lower your credit score during that first 2 years. Every time you make a monthly payment on the credit cards, on the car loan, your score is going to gradually go up. Most likely what you need right now is some time. One of the things you could do to hack it would be an authorized user account. It is not going to, it doesn't help you with FICO Model 10, but it will help you with FICO Model 2 because authorized users, they didn't do that back in 1996, so it's a way to hack that score. On the credit cards, make sure you're keeping those balances below 10% and just make sure you pay them and make sure you use them. Okay. And then a car payment, you just got to make sure you make that payment on time. Yeah. So he ran the 16 inquiries. Really, that counts as 1 though, Justin. So you're pretty good with that, but it could be putting you in a different score model. And then also we can get those removed on the inquiries, Justin, if you want. So just reach out, 1-800 number there, and we can talk about getting those removed. If it matters. It doesn't really matter. 90%. Unless you're trying to get another credit card, Justin, or refinance the truck or buy a mortgage, just leave the inquiries. It's not financially responsible to delete inquiries that you don't need to delete. Okay. Should I wait until I get the credit card statement before I pay off the balance each month, or just wait until it hits my credit report? I would, if you are in the process of buying a house and you're going to buy at any time, I would make sure that the credit cards never report more than a 10% balance. I would just be really careful with how you use those credit cards. If you're not going to buy for 3 months, 4 months, 5, whatever, 6, just use the credit cards the way you want to use them and then pay them off in full when you get the statement. Because it doesn't matter. Once they're paid off, you got about 30 days to fix any issues with it, okay? So I'll give you a good example of what I'm doing with my credit cards. All my credit cards except for one on my personal cards, all of them I put little bills on. I've been doing this for years. Netflix is on one, cell phones on one, electric bills on one, internet's on one, car insurance, water bill, my house cleaners, I don't know. And then I use one card for all my personal stuff, which is Chase. and then I pay that off in full every month. But because I have all of the other credit cards with barely being used at all, just enough to keep them open, my utilization rate on Chase doesn't impact it. But what I do, or what I am doing, is I actually go into Chase, I log on my phone, and I pay off my credit card every single week on my Chase card because I don't want it to report that it's overutilized. It does have like a $30,000 credit limit, but I just pay it off every week because I'm trying to keep that as low as I can because I want to keep my score as high as possible because I am shopping for a house right now. Okay. Hopefully that answered that question. Look at this. I love seeing these, Matt. Thank you so much. I need a 660. I'm at 572. Jen, send me a DM, or Chastity, send it to me so I can go and look at her credit after this. I can't do it right now, but I'm going to look at your credit and I'll send you an email on what you need to do. Okay. Yeah. So here's the thing, Justin, and thank you for sharing this. If you dropped your utilization rate by 1%, dropped it down to 7, you're going to see probably an extra 20, 30 points. So I always say 10% because it's easy to remember. 10%, 10 points. The real numbers, guys, are 1 to 7 for every 7 points, basically. But that's hard to remember. Okay. So 10% is good. But Justin, with yours, because you went from a 540 to a 730, which is awesome. If you got that to like 5%, between 1 and 7, so say 5, I bet you'd hit 750, maybe even 760 on that. So, all right, let's see here. What's that say? To buy a house, cool. 660, that's awesome. What is this? You know, I don't know. I'm gonna have to look up the resilience index on FICO. I'm gonna have to look that up. Some of this stuff, guys, there's constantly stuff popping up, and some of it just doesn't matter. It really doesn't. Like the FICO Model 10 resilience score with credit cards, like the banks aren't using it. So what does it matter? You know, usually what happens is FICO creates a new algorithm or creates a new score, and then it takes a few years before the banks adopt it. Okay, so I don't know. And I do know this, though. FICO is editing the model right now due to my new favorite thing to say. I don't know if it's my favorite thing to say. My favorite thing to say is I'd like to make a deposit. I like going to the bank and saying, I'd like to make a deposit. And when my family says, you're working too hard, I haven't seen you lately. Yeah, I haven't seen you at the bank making deposits either. Right. But anyway, I do know this, that FICO is going to have to change their algorithm. They're going to have to change their score due to COVID. Due to COVID. That is my thing that I say every day now. Due to COVID, they're going to have to change it because think about it this way. FICO's job is to figure out the likelihood of you missing a payment over the next 2 years. What is the likelihood of you missing the payment? Having a major derogatory on your credit, 90 days or less. What is the likelihood of that happening? You got some really good people out there, very responsible, secure beyond belief, financially secure. Everything was great. And then we had COVID, this big political bullshit, scandemic. Not saying that COVID is not real. It's real. Fucking no, I had it. I know it's real. And it sucked. I think the politicians used it. The people in power used it to get what they wanted out of it. I don't think the Chinese created it to mess with our election. I think the Chinese created it to really mess with our economy, and it just blew up. And then I think the politicians did what they say they do, never waste a good emergency. And so with that being said, I think FICO is going to have to change their model because you got these people that were very financially secure. The likelihood of being late is extremely rare. And now all of a sudden they're 6 months behind on their mortgage. They haven't made a credit card payment in months or a year. They haven't made car payments in a year. No fault of their own. I mean, I would never, as a financial professional, I would never advise you to have 12 months of reserves in your checking account or savings account. I would never say that. I tell you 3. Why? I don't want you to have 12 months in a savings account earning 0.0 nothing. I want you to have it in a private placement account that I set up for you, earning you 15% a year. I got an account right now. I'm earning 1% a day, which is insane. It is super cool. I log in the morning and I look at it. It's up 1% every day. It is freaking awesome. I would rather have that than a big savings account. So these people that had 3 months reserves or 6 months reserves and they went a year without a job, FICO is going to have to fix the algorithm to say, if you were late between March 26, 2020 or March 1st, 2020 and March 21st or March 1st, 2021, if you were late in between this time, we're going to completely ignore it. It's no longer on or in the model. They're going to have to do something like that. And I think the banks are going to have to figure something out with the 33 million homes that are facing foreclosure right now that the media is not talking about. 33 million homes are facing foreclosure right now. And the only reason they haven't been foreclosed on is because Biden extended the foreclosure moratorium that Trump had created. And then Biden, he's now on a second extension, which he probably should have let it go through so he could blame it on Trump, but he screwed up and he extended it. And now it's going to happen this summer if the banks don't forgive it all. And that, I don't know what's going to happen with that. 40% of homes in Southern California, guys, 40% are 90 days past due. 40% of the homes in Southern California, so like LA South, 40% are 90 days or more past due. Something's got to change, right? Anyway, how did I get on that topic? I don't know. Pay your credit gallons 10%. How fast you bring your credit score up? As soon as those report. So great question. So let's say that the credit card companies report on, what's today, the 11th, and they report on the 12th, and you paid it off on the 11th. They report on the 12th, your score would go up on the 12th. But let's say they report on the 10th, and you paid it off today as this live on the 11th, you're going to have to wait 30 days. The problem is this. You max it out, you pay it on the due date, it reports on the statement date, which is 2 weeks prior to the due date. The bureaus never find out it's paid off. And then you pay it off. They never report because they reported 2 weeks earlier. Now, a month goes by, you maxed it out again, you paid it off in full. Bureaus never know you paid it off because all they know is it's maxed out at that time. So you want to pay it by the statement date. I have 22 inquiries on one, 15 on the other. How much to get it removed? $25 per inquiry per bureau. 25 per bureau. $25. If you go through the Fortress University course, the financial education course, if you buy that, inquiries are free. And that's $19.97 one-time fee, $19.97 or $100 a month for 2.5 years or whatever it is. Can you explain the personal loan trick that he explained once about going in, getting a loan and paying it off? Yeah. So I always say never pay off a car loan early. Never pay off installment loan like a mortgage. A student loan, a boat loan, a personal loan, a car loan, motorcycle loan, anything that's an installment loan, number of payments for so many months. You never want to pay it off early. You want to pay it down quickly. So the way that works is, let's say my Jeep, for example. Bought a Jeep in December. It's like $84,000 or $85,000. And I did a 7-year loan, I think, on it. What I'm doing on that is I pay weekly on it, not monthly. I pay weekly. And I made a bunch of extra payments. And as I make extra payments and pay it down, once I get my house, then I'll really start hammering away on it. But right now I'm trying to keep my cash reserves up. So once I start paying it down, I'll pay it down to like $500. And then I'm going to pay $1, maybe $2 a month for the remaining 3 to 4 years on that term. Okay. So by doing that, every single extra payment I make, and Jen, if you're still on here, you probably need the money for your house, but one way you can hack your score is make extra payments on the car loans, and it makes it look like you've made multiple months payments. So if you got a loan today, and let's say your payment's $200 a month, and you make one payment of $2,000, it would look like you've made 10 payments. And so that will then increase your credit score because you've made 10 payments, even though you've really made one. So I have a bunch of I got whole videos on just that thing. So I don't want to get too far into the weeds with that. So way to get FHA loan and not live in it? No. Well, it depends. That's what I learned from working with attorneys as an expert witness. It depends. So is there a way? Yes, there is a way. You move in and you live there and then you move out. How long you live there? Well, that's up to you, but generally they want to see you there 6 months. I know of people that have bought it. I'm not saying this, you should do this. I'm not saying this is illegal. We'll just leave it at that. I'm not saying you should do this. I'm not saying it's illegal because we probably shouldn't do this. I know people have got a mortgage, an FHA or a VA, owner-occupied loan. They've moved in, they spent the night, and they never went back. I think the rule of thumb is 6 months. But really, it comes down to what was the intent? Did you intend to live there, or did you plan on making it a rental? So it's got to pass the smell test, man. If you're living in $1 million house, or let's say you're living in a $500,000, 3,000 square foot house, 3,000 square foot, $500,000, and you went and bought a $180,000 condo across town, and now you're claiming that as your residence, come on, it doesn't pass the smell test. If you're living in a condo now and you bought another condo, did you move into it for a little while, decide you didn't like the neighborhood, didn't like the neighbors, didn't like the drive? There's nothing saying you have to always live there. It's just, did you intend to live there? And that's as far as I'm going to go with that, because I don't want to get anybody to commit mortgage fraud. What's this say? You can't. So how do we get Wells Fargo from putting my business credit on my personal credit? You can't. Close your account and go somewhere else that don't do that. But here's the thing, Matt, too. It's a great question. I will tell you this: my Wells Fargo, my Wells Fargo business accounts, my business loans, and my business credit cards do not show up on my personal credit. So to answer your question, how do you get them from reporting your business credit on your personal? It's already established. You can't do anything about it. How do you do it in the future? You build business credit, and you get the credit cards under the business EIN number, not your social security number. See, what you probably have is a business credit card with a personal guarantee. It's like being a cosigner. Your business credit's not good enough, so they gave you a personal credit card, put a business sticker on it, essentially. My credit cards that I have at Wells Fargo and my other business loans that I have are business credit cards that when I applied for it, I did not give them my social security number. I gave them my EIN number, my employer identification number, which is similar to a social security number. It's my tax number for my business. And that's why my business credit cards at Wells Fargo don't report to my personal credit. So great question. Trying to get a brand new Acura 2021. The dealership's offering 0%, 2 to 6 years, 2 to 5 years, 718. But the clause says it'll pay 16 per thousand. Oh, okay. So congrats on that. I don't recommend as a general blanket statement to buy new cars. I do it occasionally. But I buy them, I hack them. So I buy them to where when I drive off the lot, I can actually sell them on Craigslist right then and there because I buy them at such a discount, which is one of my courses inside of Fortress University, how to drive a Ferrari for the price of a Honda. And I drive a Ferrari for a price of the Honda. And so I teach people how to do that. But back to the Acura, the 1677 that you're seeing, that's how much it's going to cost you to pay it back for that 2 to 5 years. So if let's say it's $20,000, 20,000, I don't know. How much is the car? $40,000. We'll call it 40 grand times 16.77. Your payment's going to be $670. $40,000 times, no, I'm sorry. It'd be 40 times 1677. Yeah, $670.80. No interest. So that's all they're telling you is so you can kind of figure out how much the payment's going to be at no interest. All right. So I don't know if it's 40,000, whatever it ends up being. But that's what that is. It's 0% interest. The principal is going to be $1677 per thousand. So like my Jeep, for example, it was like $42,000. The sticker price was like $65,000. It's a diesel Rubicon. Sticker price was like 60 something thousand. I paid 42 and then I did another 20,000 something in upgrade. So it ended up being like 85,000 when it's all said and done. Now, I didn't pay that much, but that's what retail was. And then I ended up paying $20,000 less than that. So 47,000. Okay, thank you. So let's do that. 47 times 16.77. $788.19. $788.19. If you want to negotiate that down to 43,000, make sure you finance it with them because they're going to make more money from the finance company than they are selling you the car. The commission is higher from financing it. That is one of my hacks that I teach. If you're going to buy a car at a dealership, you always finance it with the dealership because you will pay less for the car and then you refinance it later and then get rid of the inquiry off of the credit report. Love it. Thank you guys so much for the questions. Oh, Chastity's taking care of this. Look at Chastity. She's faster than me. Where's the best place to get a free credit report to see where you're at currently? A free credit report, I would say annualcreditreport.com. Annualcreditreport.com is a great place to go to get a free credit report. And you can get that once a year. And due to COVID, you can get it as many times as you need to right now due to COVID. So I have a client who's in the 400s due to his mortgage services messing up, not sending him hardship docs to sign to get a deferment on time. What do you recommend he do? He can't even get with them on the phone. Man, that's a tough one. I would say to call my 1-800 number and have us look at his credit and see what we can do to fix it. So here's the thing. There's nothing on a credit report that can't be removed from a credit report. There is nothing on a credit report that cannot be removed from a credit report. Nothing. Bankruptcies, foreclosures, tax liens, short sales, judgments, collections, repos, inquiries. Nothing that's placed on that can't be taken off. I would recommend to have your client Joe call us tomorrow. We'll look at his credit, see what it's on there, give him the likelihood of us being able to remove it. If it's really the mortgage servicer's messed up, then there's a high likelihood if we're going to get it removed. If the servicer didn't remove it or didn't mess up and your client just didn't make the payment, there's a high likelihood we're going to get it removed. And what I can guarantee you is we're not going to charge him unless we get it removed, because that's how we work. Paid on results. Christy, I should be getting a student loan disability discharge this month. How hard is it going to be to get my late payments from the 3-year-old collection account removed? Is it possible? Is the late payments on the student loan? Yes, Chastity? Okay. So if the late payments are on the student loan, it's going to be a little bit harder than if it was late payments on an open account or a collection. Now, when I say a little bit harder, there's nothing hard about what it is that we do with credit repair. Hard is digging ditches. Hard is emptying poop out of an outhouse. Hard is cleaning someone's house. Hard is like someone who has to go into a hotel room, in my opinion, and clean up after the messy people. That's hard. So when I say it's hard, it's harder. I need to find a different word. Does it take more time? Yes. And sometimes they hide behind the fact that it's a student loan and they claim that they are part of the government and they don't have to follow the Fair Credit Report Act. That's what makes it more time consuming to get the items removed from the credit report, is they hide behind the federal government. Now, the people that are reporting you are not part of the federal government. It's Sally Mae, it's Navient, it's whoever the other ones are out there. They're servicers. So think about it this way. I own a portion of 3 different apartment complexes. I've been to 2 of the 3. We have, I don't know, in my 3 apartments, we have 1,200, 1,300 tenants that pay rent every month. I've never once, out of the 1,300 tenants that pay rent every month, never once have I ever got a check from them. Never once have I ever talked to any of them. I don't know any of their names. I've never seen the lease. I've never seen the bill for the pool boy that cleans the pool at all 3 of them, because I have a property management company that takes care of all that. Okay. See, your loans that are owned by the federal government, which is 33% of our GDP, by the way. So they can never just wipe out student loans because they wipe out 33% of our GDP. They want you paying interest for the rest of your life because you're enslaved to the federal government. The federal government owns the loan, but Sally Mae or Navient is the servicer. They're the property manager. Does that make sense? So I own the apartment complexes. The tenants are paying me essentially, but it's going through the property management company. So if they don't pay and we have to evict them, we send them to collections. It's not my name that shows up on the credit report. It's the property management's name because they're the servicer. So what happens with student loans is they will pretend to be the federal government, and you got to take them to court. So hopefully we can get them removed quickly, but it's not that I hate saying this. I'll be frank with you. Student loans are the most difficult thing to remove from a credit report. Federal student loans, because of that reason, they hide behind the federal government. So they are the most difficult thing, but they don't impact your credit score the way you would think. So, and hopefully we can get it removed right away. But give us a call tomorrow and we'll look at it and tell you what we can do. Have an extra $200 to make towards my car loan. Should I make a bunch of them of different $25? No. If you got an extra $200, just put $200 on there. But here's the most important thing for you to, Jen, is make sure your credit cards that you have Do not have more. I want you, Jen, to keep your credit cards at 5% utilization rate. 5%. So just figure out what 5% of each of the credit limits are, and that's what you need to spend. If you go over that, say one of your limits is $200, 5% of that would be $10, and Netflix is $11.99. Then make an extra payment so it's paid down a little bit. So when they charge you that $12, you have a $2 credit, if you will. So it's at 5%. Okay. Can you look at my score and give me a total of giving everything off that is bad? Also, you mentioned in another video that if you have an LLC, so owner, can you change that so my business can have its own credit? Yes. Yeah. So great question. Man, I wish I could pronounce that name. Marthinus. Oh, okay. I'm going to butcher it. I'm not even going to try. I kind of tried. Yes. So when you call the office, we're not going to look at your score. We're going to look at the report. We're going to give you an estimate of what it would cost to remove everything. We don't guarantee everything to be removed. We just guarantee if we remove it, we just guarantee that if we don't remove it, we don't charge you for the item. So it's not a monthly fee, regardless of results. It's based on the account. So if we delete one account, it's $125. If we delete 0 accounts, it's $0. Okay. So we'll look at your report, give you an estimate on how much it would cost for 100% deletion. Doesn't mean that we have to get 100% deleted. My credit, for example, as of this morning, I was like 807. I have a charge off on my credit report, guys. I have a charge off on my credit right now. And I'm still in the 800s. Why? Because I have a very thick credit file with no other late payments. Credit card balances are taken care of. Now, I don't owe any money because I paid it. I settled it. I did this in 2020. I've said this before. I went through a divorce in 2019. I had a business partner that screwed me. My fault. Cost me $700,000 plus $1 million plus divorce. I had some credit cards. I was making payments on all of them. American Express called me one day and said, you need to pay it in full. And I'm like, I can't. I'm paying you $10,000 a month. I'll have it paid off by the end of the year. They're like, nope, all or nothing. I'm like, well, I can only give you 10 grand. So they went and they reported me late. And so I stopped making payments and I saved that 10 grand up. And then in April of last year, due to COVID, they called me and I owed them like 140 grand. And they called me due to COVID. And they said, we'll take 50,000 today. I said, I don't have 50,000. I got 30. So we ended up settling for $32,000. I saved $110,000. And due to COVID, I don't have to pay taxes on that $110,000 like you normally would. Because due to COVID, the CARES Act, you don't have to pay taxes on debt settlement anymore, which is pretty cool. So I saved $110,000. Let me ask you, before I did the settlement, I was like 840s. Was it worth dropping my credit by 30 points to save $110,000? Really, to save about $200,000. Because in order for me to pay 110, I got to make 200 because I'm in a 50% tax bracket before I apply my strategies, which is another course, by the way, how to eliminate all of your taxes so you get into a no tax bracket. But I have to make 200 grand, apply my strategies to keep the 110,000 in cash. Was it worth it for me to lose 30 points on my credit report to save $110,000? I think it was. I haven't even tried to get it removed from my credit report because I don't care. And I use it as an example. So why did I bring that up? You don't have to have everything fixed on your credit in order to have an 800 credit score. You can have 1 or 2 items on there. Not a big deal. And I have a collection on my credit, by the way, that I'm in the middle of a lawsuit right now with the collection company because it's not supposed to be there. But that's going to be enough money probably to pay for the down payment on my house. So anyway, I bought an owner finance house for $60,000. He gave $10,000, renovated inside and out. So 40, property's value is $150, cash out refi. Yeah, we can do the cash out refi, Matt. Send me a DM. Send a message and Chastity will send him Angelo's information, then tag him in Infusionsoft. Because I know Matt's in there, so you can just do it right now, Chas. Tag him in the Infusionsoft referred to Angelo. And then Matt Chastney will send you a DM with Angelo's phone number. Call Angelo. We can totally do a cash out refinance. We just did one last week for another customer. So you can do that for sure. Where do I find information on how to drive Ferrari? That would be in Fortress University, which comes out, those courses come out April 1st. That one won't be recorded, though, probably until May or June. But I'll give you a little sneak peek on how you can drive a Ferrari for the cost of a Honda. If you went and bought a Honda Accord right now with everything on it, so the LS model or whatever the model is, I'm going to guess 40 grand, 50 grand. I don't know, somebody Google it. But I bet it's 40, 50 grand. And you buy a 2021 Honda Accord with all the stuff on it. You drive it off the lot. Is it worth 40 grand? No. It just dropped significantly. In a year, how much is it worth? A lot less. In 2 years, a lot less. See, when you lease a car, did you know when you're leasing it, all you're paying is the depreciation on that car? The reason why they allow you to lease these cars is you're paying the depreciation for the dealership. And if you go over the miles, which makes it so they can't sell it at a profit later on, which is why they keep the miles low. The dealers make a ton of money on leases. They make more money from leasing than they do buying. When you buy a Ferrari, a Lamborghini, a Rolls Royce, a Range Rover, a Bentley, Tesla's not really a car, so it doesn't work well with Teslas. That Tesla's a piece of software, so it doesn't really work with Teslas. But when you buy a true exotic or true luxury car, here's what happens. They start out, like my Ferrari, for example, same model today would be about $1 million. Starts at $1 million. Next year it's 900. Next year it's 800. Next year it's 700. Does the same thing the Honda Accord does. It drops fast. By 5 years old, it has already dropped about 50%. By 10 years old, it's dropped about 70% of its value. When I bought my Ferrari, it was 10 years old. It had 14,000 miles on it. It's still, you know how we open up the car and it smells new? It still smelled new. I have 20,000 miles on it now. 3 years later, it still smells brand new. It's still on the first set of tires. It's had one oil change, and it's now 13 years old. So the way you buy the Ferrari is knowing how to buy the car at the lowest value possible, drive it for 6 to 12 months at low cost, really for free, and then sell it at above or for what you bought it for. The problem that most people will have is one, they pay too much because they don't know how to figure out the price that they should be paying. Two, they live in a state like California that kills you on the sales tax. I show in my program how to buy the car and sell the car without having to pay the sales tax when you buy it and without having to pay the sales tax when you sell it. So the buyer who buys it also doesn't have to pay the sales tax. That is in the Fortress University program. And so that, if you're in California and 7-8% sales tax, you buy a $200,000 car and you just drop 16 grand in sales tax, and the buyer, now when you sell it, drops 16 grand. I show you how that you don't have to pay sales tax, buyer doesn't say, which means you can now drive it and actually sell it for more than what you paid for it because there's no sales tax. That's one strategy, okay? What number to call to help us out? Chastney, put that up there for me, please. There it is. Thank you, Kelly. All right, we're at an hour. Let's see if you guys have any more questions. Otherwise, I'm going to go eat because I'm hungry. Already done 2 workouts today. I'm going to do a third one, I think. Not that I think I'm going to. Is it really true that business credit, I don't have to give my social in order to get a credit card? Yes, that is true. If you have established business credit. If you don't, and they pull your business credit and there's nothing there, then you have to co-sign for your business with your social. Many of my credit cards, I do not have social security number. My business loans, I don't have my social security number. My office lease, I have about $200,000 of office equipment, 190,000 and change. No social security number, no personal guarantee, all through the business. My airplane, no social security number. Okay, there are business things with no social. Think about it this way. Bill Gates wanted to go buy a new jet. Do you think they're going to ask for Bill Gates's social? Do you think Bill Gates is even the person that gets the loan? No, it's the CFO of Microsoft that would get the loan. It would be the CFO filling out the paperwork. And there's not going to be a social security number on it. It's EIN number. So great question, Joe. So here's what I tell you, Brandon, on that. So it says, I completed with the service guys late last year. It was wonderful. Thank you. Monday, I received a call from a collection company that you guys were able to remove. Cool. So they don't try to collect again, put something on my credit. How should you answer those calls? The question is, do you owe the money to them? Do you have proof that they own the account? And if they do have proof that they own it, that they bought it, and you do know that you owe the money, I would offer them 20, 30% of what they want. So if you owe them $500, offer them $150 to go away. And then I would make sure that I got a receipt and I'd pay with a check and I got a copy of the voided check or however they want to be paid, but you need a receipt that is paid. Do not say anything about credit reporting. They're going to say we can't do it. So don't even bring up the credit report stuff. So I would pay it if you owe it. I'd just pay it and I'd give them like 30%, no more than 50 though, but 30%, most of them are authorized. And at first they're going to say no, which is their job because they get paid a percentage. Anything above really 20%, that person on the phone gets it. So of course they're going to say no. So no problem. This is all I got. Due to COVID, this is all I got. I got $300. I can give it to you right now. Due to COVID, that's all I got. And then make sure you have it. And then pay them. And make sure you keep a receipt for the payment. And then if it did come back on your credit or something, it's really easy to fix, but it won't. If you pay it, they're not going to put it on your credit. They don't need to pay the bureaus to report it. It is $125 per bureau. And the reason we do that, Christopher, is, for example, the collection that Brandon was just asking about, it was probably only on one collection before. Collections usually only report on one or two. They rarely report on all three. Now, Wells Fargo will report on all three. The big banks will report on all three. But a lot of these smaller ones only report on Experian or Equifax, TransUnion. So we charge per bureau. So that way it's more fair for you that it's only per bureau that we get it deleted on. Okay. Greg, thank you for that on YouTube. Fortress University is coming soon. We have a few people in beta right now, but for the most part, April 1st. So you got 22 days, 3 weeks, and you can get Fortress University. You'll be able to go to fortressuniversity.com and sign up right then and there. That's a wrap. Cool. It is 7:23 here in sunny Boise, Idaho. It's in the low 60s today. It was beautiful. So I'm going to go eat some dinner. I will look up Jen. If Chastity sent me a thing on that, I will look at your credit report later tonight and figure out what's going on. I'll send you a message on that, Jen. Make sure you send that to me, Chastity, before we log off. I think it was Jen Logan. I will look at it, and I think that's all the questions. Thank you guys so much. Okay, I'm going to end the broadcast. Have a great day, guys. See you later.